Welcome, friends. It's time to get your cacao ready and settle in as we join for another episode of Megan Hopper Presents The Cacao Crowd, where we'll connect to heal, empower, and learn to love ourselves a little more each day. Welcome back, everybody. Another Thursday. So glad to know you guys are with me here, see you, hear your comments, all the fun things, interacting and enjoying each other in this wonderful space that we call podcasting and interneting. So the last few episodes, last week we did kind of touch back on cacao, just bringing that back in, getting a lot of people accustomed to what cacao is and how to work with it, because I know we do have a bunch of new listeners. But before that, we were doing kind of a series on anger and where anger comes from and what anger is. And we dug into the physical side of anger, where it sits in our bodies, how to help the physical discomforts of it, and some very typical causes of it, like work. So now it's time to jump into the emotional, energetic side of it. And today we're diving into anger as an emotion instead of an action, as a feeling, as a signal, and the meanings that that can have in our life. First, as we always do, we're going to do a little bit of meditation. And today we're going to touch in sound healing. So I have brought one of my Tibetan singing bowls with me for you guys. You've probably seen this before if you have seen our episode on sound healing. We did have a Tibetan bowl. I think we had a few Tibetan bowls during that episode, some crystal bowls. But this is one of the instruments that's commonly used in sound healing. These bowls are said to have originally been used for begging by monks in the ancient times. They're also sometimes referred to as a standing bell because they're crafted from the same metals and carry a tone or resonance. The tone varies with the size and the quality of the bowl, as well as, it's said, the amount of virtue possessed by the player. So you guys will have to tell me how this bowl makes you feel, and I'm totally basing my self-worth on it. No. Each bowl is crafted to create a specific tone with one or two overtones to sound like a full harmonized sound, often aligning to a certain chakra, and we did a whole episode on chakras as well, or organ. But it is said a Tibetan singing bowl has the ability to calm the heart, empty the mind, and teach the Dharma, or religious and moral duties. That's really a super simplified definition of Dharma. If you're not familiar with it, I encourage you to go research into the concept. But, for now, I just wanted to give you a little snippet. So yeah, let me guide you into a bit of relaxation where you'll be able to receive the tones of the bowl. So first, we'll just do our standard. If you feel like leaving your eyes open, cool. If you want to close them, you can close them, and taking a big inhale through your nose. Exhaling and releasing everything that came before this moment today. If you want to lay back or stay seated, up to you, however you want to receive. But just concentrate on the sound of the bowl and allow yourself to journey with it. And taking another deep breath through your nose. Feeling anything that may have moved from those sounds, those frequencies. And exhaling, letting everything go. Maybe moving a little bit, blinking your eyes open if you've closed them, shaking out your hands and your feet. You moved a lot when you take in those frequencies. It's kind of the idea of a sound bath. If you've heard of a sound bath, that you're bathing in the frequencies of the sound that's being created by these instruments. So those frequencies are having specific effects on different parts of your body. And there is a lot that happens even in just, the 2-3 minutes that I played there. So be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and have some water. Sorry, I had to take a little sip there. I think I dropped a little bit, but it's okay. It's water. It's clean. It's not like I dropped cacao this time. It's a little joke between me and my producer. But our fun fact does involve chocolate. So it's kind of a great segue. Nutella, which everyone is familiar with, Nutella, or I think most people are at this point. Nutella was created because chocolate was too expensive. So it was really created out of necessity. After World War II, when soldiers had been given rations of chocolate, supply was low, so the costs rose. It's the whole supply and demand, economics, different podcast. But in order to give people chocolate at a lower price, Pietro Ferrero mixed small amounts of it with inexpensive hazelnuts and created what we know today as Nutella. And with all of the inflated costs going on today, I'm sure someone's going to come up with whatever the next Nutella is. And at this point, we have Nutella cafes. I know there's one over in New York at least. So there is a real opportunity for growth and expansion and innovation. I want to see what you make. Inflation. There's a topic that'll get you pissed. Look at the gas pump soaring past $5 consistently. So tying in and going back, what is anger? From an energetic perspective, when you hear anger, you think of someone punching something, someone yelling, someone seething, clenched teeth, bright red. You think of the little dude from Inside Out that lights on fire when he gets completely activated. What do all of those things that I just said have in common? Punching, yelling, seething, clenching. Those are all verbs, all actions. And that's just it. When we say anger, we're conditioned to think of it as aggression, the violence, the physicality of it, not the emotion, the message, the compassion that it can have. When was the last time that you heard anger and compassion in the same sentence? Because anger is most often the emotion you feel when there is a boundary being challenged or crossed. It's the emotion we feel when there's something we don't prefer. When recognized as a feeling, it can be the signal we allow ourselves to feel that something isn't quite in line with our higher self, our soul, our deepest desires, principles, and morals. Oftentimes, anger can cause us to feel like we need to act because we inherently know something isn't quite in line with our being. It's usually coupled with anxiety, maybe fear, and so we react instead of sitting and coming from a place of responding. One of the greatest challenges in today's society of immediate results, carrying around our smartphones that'll tell you whatever you want immediately, fast food to get your meal right away, all the instant gratification. One of the hardest things to do is to sit still. And just to sit in that stillness and listen to yourself, allowing yourself to receive the signals you're giving yourself without taking that immediate reaction. But in that stillness is where the gift of anger comes through. So it's super important to give yourself that chance to hear it. Anger is like, I'm sure you've all experienced this at some point, like when you were in class or in a meeting or even a family dinner, whatever it was, and you had the answer. You said the answer to whatever it was, what's the answer to the math problem, or where are my keys, or whatever the question, the quandary, but you knew it and you said it and nobody listened to you. And you sit in the back and you seethe and you're just, I knew it. Anger is kind of like that. It's quiet in that way. It's smart. It's brilliant. Since really it's our own conscious selves communicating with the egoic part of ourselves. And this goes into a whole other episode of how emotions are the way our conscious communicates with our ego, which most of us are conditioned to let drive. So perhaps that's an episode to get on the schedule. But for today, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. I challenge you to give yourself the gift of stillness. The next time that you get completely and utterly pissed off, mad at the world, everything is going wrong, and you want to just punch things, stop. Sit. If you have to, run off to the bathroom. If that's the only way that you can get a couple of minutes alone, do it. But stop and sit, and in your stillness, ask yourself, which of my boundaries are being crossed? Or is it a boundary of someone else that I'm witnessing being crossed? What happened in that moment that I didn't prefer? What wasn't in line with who I am and what I believe and what I stand for? Can I make a change to what happened? Can I voice my preferences? Can I set clearer expectations for those around me as it relates to the ways that I need to be heard and spoken to or interacted with? Am I angry because I didn't speak up in that moment or beforehand? Most importantly, asking yourself, am I angry am I angry at someone else, or am I angry at myself? And once you've figured out what the anger is shining the light on, what it's highlighting, what it's giving you that message toward, say thank you. Find your gratitude for allowing the feeling and for giving yourself the time and the space to figure out why it was coming through. The more you're able to do that, the more integrated it becomes in your day-to-day. So that's just your default, to hear your emotions like a little best friend that lives inside of you. So really, anger is a gift. It is an energy. It is an action. It is so many things. But it is a gift. And if you are brave enough to give yourself that time to listen to it instead of the action of reacting, you can learn so much about who you are and how you'll handle situations. I know today was a short show, but I feel like it doesn't have to be long to be important. And this was an important message for you guys. I hope you heard it, liked it, appreciate it, really got something out of it. If you like the show, please comment, share, subscribe. As always, keep an eye on my Insta and my Linktree for events and offerings. I have been trying to get the newsletter out, so there's more options there. So feel free to sign up for my newsletter. So much love to you all. May you have a beautiful evening, and thank you so much for joining me.